Have you ever read a strange ad listing online? What causes someone to crave human flesh? Can someone truly consent to their own demise? Today, we test the believability of the Rotenburg Cannibal.
Welcome to Believing the Bizarre,
Where we dive into the unknown and the unusual.
and tell you whether or not we find it believable.
That is right. Happy Tuesday.
Wow.
I just want to say this up front as a quick reminder because it is very, very quickly approaching. May 3rd is Believing the Bizarre.
You looked at your clock when you said that.
Well, I didn't know what the date was, so I want to make sure I wasn't like lying that it was like 3 weeks away.
Quickly approaching. It's now.
Well, every minute it's closer to Believing the Bizarre, believe
That's
it or
true.
not.
That's true.
So it's free. It's live. If you're on Twitch, follow us. If you're not, set up an account. It's free. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have creepy stories. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to play games. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to have giveaways. There will be some drinks.
Couple drinks.
I
I like that you said it's free a couple times, just to really stress that point, because it is free, and that's one of the coolest things about it.
Yeah. It's as long as you have internet connection and a device to watch it, then you can partake, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Go to McDonald's and just sit there like a maniac and watch it.
Or a coffee shop with headphones if you don't want to.
Or have a lot of fun with a lot of strangers.
Yeah, you can, and there'll be drinking games. So maybe bring your own drinks to
Yes,
the Starbucks.
absolutely. BYOB.
Because otherwise, it'll probably be really expensive.
Yeah.
If you get the drinks there.
Can I get another shot, please? Just wired by the end of it.
Listen, every now and then, like the last time this happened to me, it was obviously more relevant and paranormal. It was the Miami UFO incident that we covered. Every now and then, I'll just be scrolling, doom scrolling, X, and something will catch my eye, and I'll think, that's unbelievable. And this caught my eye. And I actually told you about this about a month ago.
You did?
We were in the studio, and I was like, there's a story that I'm thinking about covering. And you were like, oh, cool. I'm not listening.
That
must have been what you said.
Sometimes, yeah.
But I'm excited because it's strange. It doesn't fit the paranormal or the supernatural, but try and tell me this doesn't fit bizarre.
Yeah.
I dare you.
Interesting.
Sources include Daily Mail,
Cool.
X/Twitter, The Guardian, Reddit, the US Sun, or the US Sun, Harper's Magazine.
Harper's Magazine. Is that where you got the question from the quiz?
Which one? The Kill Mockingbird?
Yeah.
No, I made that up from a cranium because it wasn't the right answer.
Okay.
There is a quiz attached to this. So if you're listening on Patreon or you're interested in joining Patreon, there is a quiz attached to this. I quiz Charlie on everything you're about to hear. Also, massive trigger warning. I promise you we're going to get into this, but trigger warning compared to a lot of our alien stories, our ghost stories, they don't typically lean graphic.
No, not typically.
This one's pretty graphic, y'all. When it comes to gore,
we're getting our true crime on.
Mostly gore.
Yeah.
It's
I've heard this story before on last podcast and laughed. Not that well.
Did it help Charlie in the quiz? You have to go find out.
Yeah, we will see.
So it's a wild story, though, but I will not be offended if you skip if cannibalism and imagine graphic cannibalism. If you're not down with that, we have about 200
also if Germans
other
aren't your
episodes to
bag,
listen to. What?
I said if Germans aren't your bag.
Jeez,
I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
I'm so offended.
You said you're not gonna do it.
All right. So with that said, let's just get into it. I'm going to apologize. I watched many a YouTube video for a lot of these words. I know they won't all be perfect, but I'm going to do my best. So, the Rotenburg Cannibal.
Okay.
His name is really Armin Meiwes, and he was born in 1961 and is a German computer repair technician.
I legit thought this was way earlier. I thought this was in like the 20s.
No. He had 2 older half-brothers on his father's side, but his father left him when he was 8 years old, and he was raised by his mother. His mother kind of thought of Armin as more of like a servant than a son.
That's messed up.
I didn't see it on all the articles because I try to cross-check, so I'll always shout that out if it wasn't like multi-source. But I did see one article that said that she liked to have them dress in like old-timey clothes.
Okay, so like even more old-timey.
Like 1800s clothes. Because the town that they're in, Rotenburg, apparently it looks like it's very old buildings. The architecture is very cool.
It's like
you would love it.
It's one of those old villages.
Like a village, yeah. It's a lot of people travel to it because it looks so unique and very cool. But apparently, he wasn't treated well. It was just like endless tasks and chores. He was self-described as very lonesome. And around this time, he read a lot, and he started becoming very fixated on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. Now, and also, let me just be clear. Like, I'm giving you backstory here, and obviously, it's not the ideal childhood. You can separate that this sucks for him and this is sad, but also not say that allows him to do what he later does.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not saying.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying it out loud. I'm not saying, well, if he would have been loved, then, which could be true actually.
It could be.
It's not an excuse, but it's an explanation. Maybe
I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, but he also could have just done a lot more therapy or something.
Or any therapy.
Or anything else.
So this diving into the Hansel and Gretel story is what Armin considers as the spark that led to his cannibalistic desires.
Really?
Yeah.
He found himself sympathizing with the witch.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm surprised he didn't try and build just a house of sugar.
That's what I would do.
But it wasn't, well, he's not trying to lure like children. No.
But just, I guess, build your own house of sugar.
So Armin lived with his mother until his late 30s when she passed away in like 1999. So then he moved to Westerfield, Germany, in Rotenburg, and this is where he became the computer repair guy. Probably at Circuit City. He probably killed that too. Apparently, if you were to ask neighbors or coworkers or people around him, they would have claimed that Armin was very typical. He was a normal social guy, peaceful, kept to himself, but they also said he would sometimes offer to help repair cars in the neighborhood if they needed it, or even mow people's lawns.
That's nice. That's really nice for someone who does this.
Yeah. And none of these neighbors could imagine that he would or could cause harm to anyone.
Oh my God. He did what? He ate a what? We'll get there.
Meanwhile, Armin couldn't shake that childhood fascination with cannibalism. Later in life, Armin would tell authorities that he had fantasized about having a blonde younger brother who he could keep forever by consuming him.
Think about the kid from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That's not who I thought of.
That's who I thought of immediately.
Keep forever by consuming him. Someone needs to tell homie about the digestive tract, because that's not how it works.
No. Although I know there's a little bit of psychology there, because I know Dahmer did the same thing. That's why he did the same. That was his explanation. That consuming them was part of keeping them, in a sense. But again, digestion.
You feel like I feel like I'm bonding with like Chipotle then.
I will keep you forever.
And so remember, like 37 years of his life was living with his mom, and it wasn't a good, healthy relationship. So now that he's living on his own, he's got his full-time job, but he lives alone by himself. And I haven't been a single guy in a long time, but I know it's like the idea of like your free time is completely free time. Like he had no other responsibilities. So what he did endlessly for hours and hours and hours every single night is he would go online, visit various websites and forums, and look into cannibalism and just extreme fetishes.
I feel like you should have got a hobby.
This is the transition to his hobby.
Ooh.
So he spent hours in chat rooms talking to other individuals like him who dreamt day and night about consuming human flesh. And these forums are what led him to finally attempt to pursue his dream. So that's the background on Armin Meiwes. Let's get into the main story. Do you have any thoughts so far?
Yeah, it's kind of like how the Cannibal Cop got started.
I don't know what that is.
It's this cop, right, from, I think, Staten Island. And he was talking on a forum about how he wanted to eat his wife.
Oh.
He didn't do it because he got busted.
Oh, he was going to, though.
Probably. I think so.
She's like, you're running the water really hot, Jerry.
He's like, try this perfume.
Cutting like onions and stuff in the bath.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So again, this is a true story, but it is unbelievable. So let me set the stage in a different way here. Okay, Charlie?
Yeah.
So imagine you went on Reddit or you went on Quora, like one of those sites, and you made a post. And you were like, well, first you have to make the account and verify with your email and everything. But you make the account and you make this post. Who wants to give me $1 million? Now you could do that post. There's no one stopping you from doing that post.
Yeah, sure.
And not like a GoFundMe where you have a reason. Just putting out there who wants to dump this cash in my bank account with nothing expected in return. You would assume that the odds that someone would bite that and be like, hey, I got you, would be pretty slim, right?
It's more than 1 in a million.
It's more like 1 in 7 billion.
Yeah.
Those are the type of odds that we're talking about here, and it's kind of crazy. So back to Armin. So he's feeling this desire to consume a person more and more every single day, and he's tech savvy. He's a computer guy. So he's getting in these chat rooms, and he's shocked to discover not only a community of other people like him who fantasize about cannibalism, but also folks who seemed keen on being eaten themselves. Of course, none of them actually follow through with these dark fantasies, but what if someone would? So he has the bright idea to post a request in March of 2021 in, I think, what was called the Cannibal Cafe.
Oh.
Because he was reading countless posts from people who wanted their bodies cut up, labeled like meat at the grocery store, people who wanted to be barbecued, and so on.
That's crazy. I feel like that's like, it's kind of like yes-anding themselves into saying this.
They're just playing improv online?
Yeah, in a sense. Like they're like, yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if like you killed me and made my body into meat? And they're like, yeah, I could label it. And they're like, yeah, label it like the grocery store. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it depends. But there's like a fine line between action and fantasy.
Yeah.
And true. I think that's what Armin was struggling with, is that he was reading these chats, but no one was acting on it. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like differentiating between the people who were just like living their fantasy in a safe space online. Like, think of like something like Omegle. Mm-hmm. Like people want to just pop in and say whatever they want under, whatever type of avatar or personality that they want. So it's like he's battling this. Okay, everyone's talking about it. I found the right group, but are these people actually doing it? Are they being serious? Because like I'm trying to get
some.
It's been a minute since I eat. You know what I mean? So he was looking for a willing volunteer because even though I would never classify him as a good guy, he didn't consider himself a criminal, and he wanted to make sure that there was some level of consent.
I've never jaywalked before in my life. I've never gone too fast on the highway. It's the Autobahn. You can't go too fast.
So he made a post stating this, quote, looking for a well-built 18 to 25-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed, unquote.
The well-built part.
Consensually, I know.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, why would anyone agree to this?
Some really terrible kinks that they need to work out with therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah? Did I nail it?
I don't know. There's no answer to that.
Oh, there's no real answer?
No one answered. It was like, well, I do, but because. Okay. I'm asking you your opinion. There's no answer.
I think just sometimes, you could troll. You could definitely troll. Yeah, like I'll totally let you eat my kneecap. There's a lot of meat on there.
I had to give Nick Chubb my kneecap. So, obviously it wouldn't be much of a story if no one responded. So enter Bernd-Jurgen Armando Brandes. He wasn't quite in the age range that Armin wanted. He was 43. He's a 43-year-old man, microelectronics engineer from Berlin.
See.
But you can't be choosy. You know what I mean? You can't be choosy.
How do you approach him? Like, I know I'm a little dated.
No, it's like if you come into a restaurant, there's only 5 minutes left, and they're like, hey, we got this sausage pizza. Most of the sausage fell off, but there's like sausage oil on it, and you're like, but there's only 5 minutes left, so oil. I'll take it.
It's like you get an older, like, stew meat from a cow.
No.
Yeah.
Older stew meat?
Yeah. Older meat you have to stew because it's really tough.
Cool.
Tyler hasn't talked about meat since 2019.
So I would say 43 is a little stale, right?
For sure.
But nonetheless, Armin got a bite, pun intended, on his post. Actually, there were a couple people. That responded to Armin's ad, but all of them backed out, or just Armin could just tell they weren't being serious. So kind of like what you were saying, there were people trolling.
Yeah.
But even if they weren't actively trolling, maybe it thought it was a joke.
Like it went too far.
It went from fantasy land to wait, this dude is giving me his address.
He really wants me to come there to eat me.
He's hit me with that ASL. So, but Brandes was like, hey, We can make this work.
Pull the trigger.
You know, those other people probably got cold feet, and Armin likes so
hot feet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So again, the volunteer aspect was very, very important to Armin, and apparently this was Brandes' reply to Armin's post.
Oh, I want to hear
this. He said,
yeah.
"I offer myself to you, and will let you dine from my life."
That's very poetic.
Yeah. He probably put a lot of thought into it. There's probably many backspaces, and this is not his first draft. If you're confirming that someone is allowed to eat you, that's not a first draft type of email.
No, he says yes.
Imagine there's a typo, like you put dime instead of dine or something.
Dime myself.
He's like, damn it! Like, and just back out.
I often myself to you. That's pretty good.
That was pretty good. So, but you kind of hinted this, but there really wasn't much insight into Brandes' mental state.
Yeah.
I would assume there was something going on, whether it's, mental illness, depression, traumatic events that happened in his life.
Yeah.
But we don't know. What we do know, however, is he seemingly, from the outside looking in, had a normal life. He did have a live-in girlfriend, and most importantly, he agreed to be slaughtered and consumed by Armin. On wax.
The person that responded had a living girlfriend. Mm-hmm. What was his explanation to her? Going out for milk?
I don't know, because one of the sources I read said he just started selling all of his stuff.
Oh.
Because he didn't need it anymore. But another article I read, which I didn't see, I did cross-checking, I didn't see it sourced anywhere else. He told her that he also liked men, and she wasn't down with that. Mm-hmm. There is sexual undertones to this as well.
For sure. There has to be.
Between Armin and Brandes, but it wasn't as overtly. It turns a little bit more into than just, I'm going to take anyone and eat them. Because he did want a man that he was going to cook up and eat.
Could not be a girl.
I mean, now if it's month 3 and no one's responding, maybe he would consider, but I don't want to speak for him. There's a lot of people I don't want to speak for. I don't want to speak for Armin.
Don't have that much of mental insight on this guy.
No. So they arranged for Brandes to travel to Armin on March 9th for this event, even going into specifics on which body part Armin was going to consume first. Charlie, from our quiz, do you happen to remember what that is?
I believe they went for the nether regions.
Yeah.
A little bit lower.
Yeah. Like at the foot?
Under the waist. Between the legs.
The thigh.
Between the legs.
Went
for
Okay.
March 9th, you said.
Let's keep it penis.
Oh, okay. Surgical. Went for his penis.
Yeah, the penis.
March 9th?
Mm-hmm.
A couple days after your birthday.
Couple days after my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been 9. So here's an actual translated, because this is German. This is a translated chat room transcript between Armin and Brandes. Charlie, I'm going to need you to pull your phone out.
Grab it.
Okay, so this is a chat room, so they got chat names.
Yeah.
By the way, when you play video games online, do you ever intentionally call people first glance names with their if you glance at a username or an avatar name or a gamer tag and you call them something, but then the more you look at it, you were wrong, but do you ever just stick with it?
I would stick with it if I thought But
even if you knew it was wrong, would you call them?
I'd probably just keep the name.
Okay. So for instance, we got Cater or Couture 99, which is Brandes.
Okay.
And we have Antrophagus. But I'll just be honest, I would have called him Gator and Asparagus. And for the rest of their game, they would have been Gator and Asparagus.
Gator?
So we got Brandes and Armin. Charlie, who would you prefer to be in this
I feel like you should be the cannibal.
Oh. All right. After saying I'm not gonna speak for him, I'm going to literally speak for him.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the accent because I'm not.
That's fine.
I'm not doing it. So you are Couture 99. So we are now entering transcript territory. Charlie will be playing the part of Brandes.
All right.
And I will be Armin.
Hello.
Hi, Couture. What do you do professionally that you are up so late?
I can't sleep well anymore because of our meeting.
That's a sensible reason. Yesterday, I was incredibly tired. It was a stressful day.
I am in telecommunications.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
I believe you.
I'm looking forward to our meeting. It will definitely be really cool.
I want it to be. I hope it'll be really cool. Are you setting an alarm clock?
It's only a few days until March 9th.
Still, I would have rather met you yesterday and felt your teeth.
One can't have everything. There's still some time before you can really feel my teeth.
hardly know what to expect. Have you slaughtered a man before?
Unfortunately, only in my dreams, but in my thoughts, I do it every night.
So I'm the first. You have eaten human flesh before, or haven't you?
No, you don't exactly find it in the supermarket, unfortunately.
How do you know if it will taste good to you, or that the blood won't make you sick?
I'm readying myself with my dreams. Once I was so excited, I grabbed a needle and drew my own blood so I could drink it.
And your blood, it tasted good to you?
It was quite tasty. Once I was drilling some holes, and the drill slipped right into my hand. That was a real treat.
Jesus Christ.
Blood is the juice of life. It contains everything a person needs for nutrition.
Then I hope you won't wilt, that you can really see it through without a problem.
To bite your penis will certainly not be easy. Living flesh is somewhat more resistant than fried. But one thing is for certain, our dream will be fulfilled.
But there's not so much in it as there is in muscles.
Yes, but the penis is a spongy material filled with blood.
For both our sakes, I hope that's true. I hope you have already thought about this. I've already thought about what's to be done with the rest. Fulfilling the dream shouldn't become a nightmare for you. No one will know where I've disappeared to.
After you're dead, I'll take you out and expertly carve you up, except for a pair of knees and some fleshy trash. There won't be much of you left.
There will be a good bit, like the knees. I hope you have a good hiding place for them.
I'll dry out the knees and grind them up soon after.
Okay, so they're good as fertilizer. I've heard that once. I see you thought about it. Good. Sounds like I'm the first.
And you won't be the last, hopefully. I've already considered catching a young person from the street, but I would rather kill only those who want to be killed.
That also doesn't sound bad. But yeah, seeing as it's not totally legal, this is better in my eyes than yanking somebody directly off the street.
Exactly. But I'd do it if it were legal.
Ooh, unchat. Sign off. Charlie, any thoughts?
I feel like we just wrote somebody's fanfic for us.
I feel creepy, like I just spied on some people.
Oh, I can't believe how willing he was for that. Like
he's like, let's go.
He knew he was going to die going in.
Yeah.
That's wild. Like, he was just into it, too. Am I the first?
It almost seems like he doesn't truly believe that it's, like,
yeah,
that it's going to happen.
Why did they agree on the penis?
Because it's bloody?
I think my guy was right. Like, it's not that great. He should go with, like, a bicep or something.
Well, here's some of the sexual undertones. So, on March 9th, 2001, Brandes purchased a one-way ticket to visit Armin. This episode's sponsored by DoorDash. It's not, but it should
Damn.
be. When they got to Armin's home, they exchanged some simple pleasantries, and then they got down to business. All right, the chat was a sneak peek into things that are about to come. Reminder, emphasizing if you do not like gore, if cannibalism grosses you out, if you're driving and you're afraid you're going to vomit on your dashboard and it's going to clog up your windshield and you're going to crash your car.
Maybe skip this one with the little ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Little ones, too. They don't need to hear this.
They've gotten pretty far.
They don't know what's going on, but yeah. So, Armin had waited 40 years for this to happen. So, he didn't want to just drink some coffee and shoot the breeze. He's like, all right, let's go. Get
down to business.
Yes. So, they decided to videotape the whole thing.
Okay.
The whole thing.
It's like, maybe we could do a podcast after.
I believe that it was intended for consent. Because he explicitly had Brandes say in the video that he consented to everything that was about to happen, and not just say yes without knowing, like to get Brandes to say, I give you permission to kill and eat me.
Yeah. Did he think that was going to give him like a free pass? We'll get there, I guess.
Yeah. So this ended up being like a 4-hour video, which is just wild.
That's long.
So the first thing in the video is the verbal consent.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing, Armin had Brandes take 20 sleeping pills and drink an entire bottle of cough syrup.
Damn.
So at least they're putting him in an altered state.
Yeah, he's
not quite a zombie.
I mean, he's pretty zooted.
He's bonkers. He's out. It's what you call seasoning in the cannibal. Or maybe
I'm actually surprised
marinating.
I'm surprised that you wouldn't think it would change like the flavor.
I don't think thinking clearly is Armin's forte. So next, because of the initial discussion, which y'all heard me and Charlie read, Brandes requested that Armin tried to bite his penis.
Like straight up?
Yeah, and I imagine the moments leading up to that were just as awkward as the actual task.
Yeah.
So they attempted it, but Armin found that it was too difficult to bite through. So instead, he gave up on that task and thought, okay, let's just get it over with. I'm going to go grab my kitchen knife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he took the kitchen knife, agreed upon by Brandes. He cut it off. Cut the whole thing off.
Dang.
And
like a bobbit.
Like you bop it?
Bob it.
Twist it?
No, she's
Spin
the
it?
She's the lady that cut off her husband's penis and threw out the car window.
No, Mrs. White did it in the Clue movie, I think.
Oh, did she?
Maybe they had. I don't know. It doesn't matter. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
I believe
okay.
you. I believe that is true.
It was a lady.
So now he's keeping his word, being well, they both are at this point.
Oh yeah.
But Armin cuts it in half, and then they try to share it, and they each consume a little, but they realize that it's a little too tough and chewy, so that wouldn't do.
That's what he said.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
That's
in the
true.
chat.
Brandes was pretty right.
Did he have a little bit of like, I told you so moment?
He's like, well, it's my penis, bro. Like, come on.
I had a hunch.
So they decided to do what anyone would do. Armin cut off a little bit of Brandes' fat for some oil, some butter, and got a skillet out. Put that fat, Brandes' fat, on it. Cooked that down until it's simmering. Threw the penis chunks on there, and but now it's officially cooking. You're not just eating it raw. You're not a savage. Yeah, you're in the kitchen. You got it. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna put a little salt, a little pepper, a little wine, a little garlic. Yeah. However, this being the first, you can't Google. Like I could Google something like mushrooms in an air fryer and it'll give me suggestions. You're not going to find an article online about how long to cook a penis on a stove. And if you did, it's probably got like 7 paragraphs before it about the person's life.
My mother always fried penis.
Like, it's kind of our family recipe. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not doing that. So he threw that out the window. But the downside is that he cooked it too long. It ended up burnt. It was no good. It was a no good penis. So he cut it up into small pieces, and Armin gave it to his dog.
Imagine getting the most rare piece of meat you could find. You get an ostrich loin, something amazing, incredible, and then you burn it. How devastating would that be? I would be distraught.
It'd be like your puffer fish. Isn't that what you want to eat?
Yes, I do want to eat that in Japan.
Not Germany.
No.
You don't want that German puffer fish.
I don't think they have that really.
Puffer fish.
But if they mess that up, you will die. 100%.
Well, I think he messed this up already. I think Brandes is too late. Brandes could eat puffer fish at his own pace right now without any concern. By the way, it's crazy that we're just now finding out Armin has a dog. But apparently Dog's just like, this dude's crazy, but you gotta eat. You know what I mean? Dog gotta eat. So at this point, Brandes was becoming incredibly weak due to blood loss.
Yeah.
He's bleeding everywhere.
Not bad.
So Armin ran a bath for Brandes and helped him set him in there. We got joking about like the boiling him, but this was like a relaxation thing.
Yeah.
Put Brandes in, so he's bleeding all over in the tub.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's no bubbles. And to let the time go by, Armin decides, I'm going to go in the living room and read my Star Trek book.
Sure.
Which, just to be clear, a Star Wars fan would never do this.
That's so weird.
They're too busy. They'd be in the bathroom bitching about the prequels and the sequels.
That's right.
But anyway, every 15 minutes or so, Armin would periodically check on Brandes and see how he was doing in the bathtub. Brandes was drifting in and out of consciousness. He was here and then he was there. It's the blood loss,
drugs,
the cough syrup, sleeping pills. Yeah. You're bleeding everywhere.
Bad food. Didn't really eat.
Probably the only thing keeping him around was adrenaline.
Yeah.
Because, adrenaline from the injury and his body's internal adrenaline, but also he was excited for this day.
Yeah.
I think that was the only thing.
It's like he doesn't want to miss the day at Disney.
Yeah. You experienced that. COVID.
Yes.
You and Brandes are kind of like, you can sympathize.
I can't.
You can relate.
I don't know what relate.
I'm glad that you read his part in the chat.
Me too, yeah.
So after a few hours or so passed, Armin set his Star Trek book down, said a very long prayer, walked, and this is all videotape still, walked into the bathroom and took a very nice kitchen knife and stabbed Brandes in the throat. It was over. Brandes is now dead.
Yeah.
And Armin took Brandes' lifeless body and hung it from a meat hook. He then beheaded Brandes.
Damn.
Dismembered the corpse and stored parts of him in the freezer. And apparently he took Brandes' head and buried it behind his home in the garden. No good eating there.
Just the head?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else would you have assumed that he would have buried?
Maybe like the fingertips and the feet.
Oh, like anything with like prints?
Yeah.
But in his mind, he got consent.
Yeah.
He's not really, he's not like putting a flag out front like, hey, I
killed some guy.
I killed a guy here, but it's okay. But I think in his mind, he's like, I got the tape. He said I could do it. I did it. It's all good. I even put him in an altered state, numbed his whole body.
So why do you bury the head then?
I think it's just because there's nothing to eat from the head. The cheeks, I don't know. I'm not putting too much thought into this, to be honest.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
So, or maybe it could have been something more sentimental than that.
Maybe
I did read another story where he like kissed him before he like stabbed his throat. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was like in honor of him. Like it could have been an honoring thing more than just a no good eating here thing.
Gotcha.
That's not explicitly said. So he strikes me as the type of guy that potentially would have buried the head because it's like he'll always maybe another 43-year-old engineer will grow in my backyard who will let me cut him up and I won't botch the penis this time.
That's a never-ending food hack.
We're just now learning about farming. Over the next 10 months, it's estimated that Armin consumed about 44 pounds of Brandes' flesh.
That's so much.
Here's a quote from Armin. Quote, I always had the fantasy, and in the end, I fulfilled it. I fried a piece of rump steak, a piece from his back. With every bite, my memory of him grew stronger. Unquote.
That's delusional. That's wild.
You don't need the memory. You got it on videotape, by the way, and the chat. Everything of their interactions is documented.
Yeah.
But I know that's not what we're, relying on here. So anyways, so 10 months or so have gone by, or, whatever. Time has gone by, but he's back in his chat room thing. You do something once, you get away with it, and you start thinking, could this be a trend? Are there more Brandeses out there, right? So he gets in the chat and he starts, I want to say lure, but he still wants to do consensual. He's not looking to, he doesn't want to kill anyone without consent, but he's trying to repeat the process, Command C, Command V. He wants to copy and paste this. And he ended up talking with 5 other men, but he didn't kill them. He didn't meet them. The consent wasn't there. And this started kind of frustrating Armin a little bit. He started realizing maybe Brandes was more special than these other people because all these people in this chat are talking that talk.
Yeah.
But they're not walking that walk. You know what I mean? So this kind of led to him flexing a little bit with like what Brandes had. Okay. Like he's kind of letting these people know like, hey, listen, you guys are talking all this stuff, but let me tell you about what I did with Brandes and all this stuff. So he's posting about that in the chat. And yes, he's in a community of people who like to fantasize about cannibalism, but not everyone is down with the act of doing it. So there's one student, an Austrian student, and he wasn't down with what Armin was saying. He thought this was very disturbing to go beyond the fantasizing and to actually do it and to kill someone and eat it. So he got Armin's location by chatting with him, and then he alerted the police.
Nice.
He was like, no, this is no good. So the police show up at the door. They found human remains stored in the freezer. They looked in the backyard and they did find skulls and intestines and stuff like that. Well, skull. Yeah. And things like that. One. And they found the video, the 4-hour home video, which would put the video from the ring to shame. Imagine watching this. Like, as we're doing a podcast, a bizarre paranormal. This isn't paranormal, but a bizarre podcast. Like you're in the mindset to consume weird information like this. Imagine just finding this tape, putting it in, and it's this.
That'd be so hard. It'd be so difficult.
Yeah. So when they asked what he did to Brandes, Armin replied that he, quote, had consumed his victim with a bottle of South African red wine, had got out his best cutlery, and decorated his dinner table with candles, and that Brandes tasted of pork, unquote.
Sounds like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
It does, really. You know what, though?
It sounds like you're about to defend him.
No, I'm not going to defend him. Of course not.
Okay.
I've heard that people do taste like pork.
Okay. Cool. So, we won't spend too much time on this. But let's get to a little bit of the trial. All right, like I said, don't want to get too much in the nitty gritty. This isn't a Law and Order show or true crime podcast. So Armin was officially arrested in December of 2022, which is a year and a half essentially after it happened. So
of when?
December of not 2022, 2002.
Okay,
he was arrested in December of 2002. So a year and a half after. I was gonna say
he's only been in jail for a year.
A minute, yeah, no.
I'm glad he got arrested.
Well, yeah, as he should. So despite the clear-cut evidence of manslaughter, the case overall is problematic because it was discovered that cannibalism was not illegal in Germany. What you do in Germany? You doing that Hansel and Gretel stuff. Gretel and Hansel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
It's a clutch move by Armin to make sure he fulfilled his fantasy there.
Yeah.
So instead of cannibalism, they decided to try and charge Armin with the murder for the purposes of sexual pleasure and disturbing the peace of the dead.
I never said it was for sexual pleasure, though, right?
It's a 4-hour video. There's probably some transcript that we don't have, but they're also looking for things to throw at him. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, yeah. Can't they just go with murder?
I don't know. Murder.
Premeditated murder.
It's about
good old-fashioned murder one.
It's about the type of murder. Sexual pleasure and disturbing the peace of the dead. Armin's rebuttal was that the victim completely agreed to being killed and eaten, and of course, he had the video proof. Additionally, Armin was deemed a schizoid personality, but was confirmed to be fit enough to stand trial.
Okay.
Regardless of all of it, Armin was sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in prison. A retrial occurred in 2006, where he was officially convicted of murder and was sentenced to life in prison.
I was going to say, I'm going to need more than
it's
8 years.
So just a quick summary. As of now, Armin is an advocate for people with mental illness to receive treatment.
That's good.
He works laundry in prison, attends church, and has since apparently become a vegetarian.
That's good.
So that is the story of the Rotenburg Cannibal. Let's talk about that in the discussion. All right, before we get to the discussion, we would like to stop the episode and thank our newest patrons who, as of the recording of this true crime episode, is Low and Slow, Eric and Colin, and Ariel.
Did you plant Low and Slow?
No.
Like
Low and Slow?
Yeah, like cooking.
No, that's I believe 420 was in their name.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It's Erica and Colin. I'm sorry. Erica and Colin.
Hell yeah.
So we got some stuff going on Patreon.
Yeah, there's some things going on there.
Tons of content popping out. Let me tell you this, though, because I'm very happy with myself. Outside of Ashley, who we talked to in our Google Meet recently, because we do that. We meet with people.
We do.
For an hour, if you're in the dedicated or the not tier, which will chat with you. So other than Ashley, which I apologize, Ashley, it will get sent out soon. We got the not tier pin.
Yeah.
It's an exclusive annual pin where you can only get it the year that you're in it. So if you join now, unfortunately, you can't get 2023's pin, but you will automatically receive 2024's not tier pin, which is very ironically or unironically the not deer. Last year was just our logo. This year is the not deer. It's a cool enamel pin.
First quarter is about done.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We're heading into Q2.
That's right.
It's crazy. But beyond that, you get the pin. And after 3 months of being a patron, you also get our exclusive shirt,
hoodie,
and our exclusive hoodie.
Hell yeah.
It's bumping in our Patreon, and we appreciate you. Charlie, what is something you'd like to shout out?
Something I want to shout out is called Beyond the Bizarre. Beyond the podcast, Tyler and I talk about things going on in our lives. I feel like Tyler always has a lot more to talk about than I do. I think Tyler lives a more adventurous life than I do.
I don't think that's true.
I do.
You're like, I go to Europe, I go on a cruise.
But I don't know if you recently saw Tyler attempted to walk 50 miles. He talks about that in Beyond the Bizarre.
With Ben. Producer Ben's in that clip, too.
Yeah.
We talk about what happened, what went wrong, what went great.
What went all wrong.
It'll be out by Tuesday, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So if you want a recap, a long, in-depth recap about that and anything else happening in our lives.
Yeah. There's old ones, too, where I did talk about when I went to Scotland.
Scotland and the cruise.
And Disney multiple times.
Yeah, you go on more trips than I do, my friend.
That's definitely not true.
Well,
not anymore. You used to go on a lot of trips.
Yeah, well, for work.
Yeah.
For work. I have to work. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. For all of our patrons, we really appreciate you. You help the podcast so much, help keep things running smoothly. If you're interested in joining our Patreon, there's so much there. We really think there's something for everyone. We put out, we say it all the time, between 7 to 10 types of bonus content every single month.
That's true.
And even if you're not on Patreon, we just appreciate you listening. With that said, let's get back to the main episode. All right. I'll be honest. There's a lot that we discussed throughout it, because how can you not discuss throughout this episode?
Yeah.
First things first, I got to ask you this, Charlie. I'm going to give you a scenario, and in this scenario, you have to eat meat. And by meat, I mean human meat.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, oh no.
Like, whatever situation, morally, immorally, you want to think of. Like think about like that, the plane crash in the Andes, and that thing was a great film. If you, and let's say like a forearm, so it's not like, graphic.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say you had to eat a human forearm, and you could choose one thing to season it with. One seasoning. Lemon pepper, rotisserie, Chick-fil-A sauce. What are you choosing to season this forearm?
This is going to sound bad. How is it being cooked at all?
I don't know. You get as graphic as you want, my friend.
Let's assume we're going to do a roast. It's a forearm?
Yeah.
Sure. Assume we're going to do a roast. I think only one seasoning?
Well, yeah, you only get one. This isn't Chopped. This isn't Iron Chef. You get one seasoning
so I can
to make
either
it palatable.
Garlic powder or rosemary.
I'm going to join you in the garlic powder. I was actually going to say garlic onion powder.
Yeah, garlic powder for sure.
And you got to pat it down.
Yeah. Make sure it's dry too. I think it's a pro tip. You got to make sure your meat is dry. You do. You got to make sure it's dry, and then you put a binder on it, like oil or mustard, something like that, to make sure the seasoning sticks.
But you only get the garlic right now.
Just garlic powder, right? And then
you just spit on it. But then you got to dry the spit. And then. All right, Charlie.
Yes, yeah.
What are your thoughts on this mess of an episode? We got.
Oh boy.
We got. Listen, I trying to find how I want to say this. I don't blame him for having cannibalistic urges. I do not have them.
Not necessarily.
I don't, eat animals, but like I don't have those urges. There's a difference between having an urge that you can't control and then acting on them.
Yes.
And he crossed the line by acting on it. And like the urges and the tendencies are where I have more sympathy with. Like he had a poor, bad home life growing up. I think children are incredibly, like, I think your first 10 years of life really will dictate how you are, for, better or worse. That's how I personally believe it. So, I don't think he had much of a chance, but it's the acting on it is not okay. I don't think the thoughts are okay, but I don't think he can
It's hard to control thoughts.
Yeah. So, choosing to go to therapy would have been a better action than to find someone online.
Yes.
But he's also he has no support system. It's him by himself. His mother passed away, who he didn't even really like. He has all the free time. He has a good job, so he's got money.
Yeah.
He has no stressors, so he's boredom. It's that boredom idle brain.
He's got a dog.
What do they say about the idle brain?
Idle hands are the devil's playthings.
Yeah, so he's on these chat rooms. He's giving in to these fantasies and these urges. As unbelievable as it is, you'll get someone to act on the urges.
Yeah.
The most unbelievable aspect of the story to me is Brandes.
Someone to bite on it
and follow through. He probably met
crazy.
Out of all the percentage of people, think of everyone in the world, and then the percentage of people that give in and joke about the cannibalism culture and that whole mindset, and then the percentage of those people that are willing to follow through with it. I think that's why I thought Brandes was so special.
We got to put up top. They both needed help.
Oh, yes.
They both needed help.
Real help. Like therapy.
Doctors.
Yes.
Maybe even medicine.
Yeah. So I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't have that's.
You don't have that kind
There's
of insights.
no sit on my couch and advice for someone who's feeling cannibalistic. It's my cat died, or it's this happened at work. Then I'm like, okay, I can, there's relatable things in my brain that I can pull from to formulate. Well, first, I feel like you got to be do you want advice or do you want someone to listen? Right? There's a difference between that. But then it's okay, I can formulate something from my past to give you an opinion or, something. But if someone's I want to eat people, it's sometimes I want to eat animals. I do. Chicken was very yummy.
Yeah, and I act on those urges all the time. I had a burger before I came.
But you didn't kill it wasn't a manwich.
What? No.
You didn't eat a manwich?
No, I ate a hamburger from a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? I just summarized. Gave everyone the premise again, as if you weren't listening the last 40 minutes. But what do you think about all this stuff?
It's such a, you said it up top. It's a bizarre story. Although you did hit on a question. Do you have the right to consent to die?
Yeah.
That's such a powerful question.
Well, I mean, if you want to go from a very, like people, somebody's in the hospital.
Yeah.
And
terminally ill, right?
Yeah. And they're like, pull the plug. It kind of goes to that, which is, to be honest, I don't really want to get in that conversation. That's pretty heavy.
It is very heavy. Also, it's not necessarily what we're talking about.
No, but that's probably the most real world example.
That's the most realistic version of that.
Yeah.
Not what happened in Germany.
Eat me. He's like Tommy Lee Jones. Eat me.
He does.
But even he didn't actually expect to die.
And then he was like, blows him up. I love that movie.
Yeah. Oh, so the scene where it crashes in the farm and you see it coming in the sky and then it.
I love the part where he pulls his hair back.
Is that butter?
And she passes out.
Sugar.
Water. That's a great way to end the scene.
What?
Where is that butter? And she passes out.
They probably filmed more than that and they were just like, nah. That's good.
Either way, that's a really good cutting off.
We need to start passing out to end our scenes.
I try sometimes. It doesn't work.
Charlie's just snoring on the mic. So, man, this is... I think it's remarkable, not in a positive way. Remarkable that it's like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
That he found Brandes.
Oh, yeah. It's like one in a billion.
It's a testament to the digital age. Because no amount of posting flyers on telephone poles was going to find the right person in like 1982. It just was not going to happen. So on our scale from believable to viable to skeptical to unbelievable, I go unbelievable. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe Brandes was like, I was joking the whole episode, but I feel like,
it happened. I guess it's hard to not go believable, right? It happened.
It happened, but it was unbelievable.
It happened, right?
It happened.
You have to say it happened.
It's still unbelievable to me, though. I can't believe it happened.
Definitely skeptical.
A little flair, though. This might be our goriest episode we've ever done. I look at it in the vein of the McKamey Manor, where it's something that is so bizarre. I'll be honest. I'm actually not a big true crime person, but this one just was like so wild to me.
It's a crazy story. I have heard it before, but it's been a long time. You're right. Unbelievable story.
So that is our episode on the Rotenburg Cannibal.
Rotenburg Cannibal.
He's very hungry.
German accents.
No, I refuse to do it because
you did a little.
I'm not as good. I used to be actually excellent. Actually, I've never been excellent.
I was excellent.
I was pretty good at the German accent, but no.
I didn't do it during the I almost did a little bit during the transcript. I tried not to.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and sticking through it. It's a unique episode for us, but I felt good doing it. Yeah. And it was just a wild, wild, wild story.
And please join us on May 3rd.
Yes.
9 o'clock? Is that right?
9 p.m. Eastern time for y'all in Ohio and other places.
Just Eastern. Ohio.
Apparently we're Midwest, but it's Eastern time.
Indeed. Believing the booze are.
Yes, indeed. There will be drinks and quizzes and games.
And drinks.
And giveaways.
And drinks.
And we're going to have trivia stuff. And creepy stories. It's going to be a lot of fun.
There's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be live on Twitch, completely free. All you need is a Twitch account. And I recommend signing up ahead of time because it's been a minute since I've signed up on Twitch. The process probably takes... Because they're going to send you an email to validate.
Validate the email. It's a pain in the ass.
Just do it now. Just make sure you're set up in time. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Producer Ben's going to be there. We're going to have some friends helping us out throughout the filming of it. But it's going to be fun. It's kind of replacing our 3rd anniversary. So we hope to see you there. We're really excited about it, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And if you like this episode, please go to Apple, leave a 5-star review, say something nice, and you can say something on Spotify on the episode.
That's right. You can respond specifically in a specific episode with specific thoughts.
Specifically about that
specific episode. So on our previous episode on Guardian Angels, Anthony specifically said, pretty sure my guardian angel judges my life choices on the daily, LOL. Great episode. Sarah said, as someone who needs my alone time, my guardian angel would be sent to the corner so they don't stare at me.
I like that one too.
Be a bad time to choke on some popcorn. Celestial Molly said, I would love to see you guys delve deeper into non-Christian beliefs regarding angels. You touched on it briefly, but as a more secular spiritual person, I'd love to hear more about that. That's on you, bro.
I think so.
That's I think that's a task you can take.
I will gladly take that task.
Will that be done before you do Hollow Earth? Probably.
Yeah.
But seriously, thank you everybody so much for listening and for supporting the podcast. If you're on Patreon, awesome. If you're not on Patreon, we still appreciate you. If you want a little bit more, you're caught up on all of our episodes. There is 3 years, 2.5 years, a lot of years of back content, and we're constantly putting out 5 to 10 to 7 to whatever pieces of new content every single month. So seriously, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the podcast that would apparently eat anything with a little bit of garlic powder on it. As always, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Charlie.
And catch us next week on Believing the Bizarre.
A podcast as bizarre as you are.